and Eddie and my name is JustKurt, ultraplayer, and I am your coach of the Phillies, Soldo. Welcome one and all back again to the APA. Today we're going to be taking on Dan, aka aDrive, and if you watch Team Builder, you know I have a story for you. So let me tell you a story about Dan, and why the title of this video is called Grudge Match, and why I'm a petty asshole, but that's beside the point. So 3.5 years ago when I was starting League format, I was in a couple leagues actually. I was in a league called CBL, which was actually on Facebook, which is really weird. I met a lot of cool people there. I was in 2 leagues, one called the PML and one called the NPTL, which basically ended up fusing into what's now the MLP, which is the league that I run. But anyway, I was in all these leagues together, alright, at the same time. I was doing really, really good, though. I actually feel like the music's a little bit quiet this time. Like, it's just quieter music in general, so I'm going to turn it up just a bit. Hopefully it's not too loud. Anyway, so I'm in all these leagues. 3.5 years ago, I'm just starting out league format. It is late 2015, and I'm doing really, really well. Like, I'm actually taking on draft format pretty well. I'd won a lot. I was 18-1. The only person who had beat me up that point was Noah. I don't think I've ever mentioned Noah on the channel. I don't think you've ever seen Noah on the channel. Wow. Anyway, he coached Tarheel to Ruby, and now he coaches the Lehigh Valley Phantoms. He's really, really good. He's really, really good. He's easily one of the best players I've ever seen in my life. So anyway, I was 18-1, and one time I'm in the stream of Mr. Dan, aka aDrive, and I'm in the chat. And I'm just like, coming for you next, Dan. Or something like that. Like, I was like, you know, I was really excited because I was started at 18-1. Dan the man goes in a stream out loud. He goes, "You need to find some better opponents." I said, well. Maybe I'm actually pretty good. He goes, "No, you need to find better opponents." So, me being petty and knowing, of course, how to hold a grudge for very, very long. Here I am. I've been trying my best to fight this man in League format for a very long time. A very long time. I got into NPAA. Hopefully to get promoted into NPA and fight him. It didn't work. I got to fight him through Kelly a little bit because I was his assistant coach and one of his main builders for a while. So that was cool. Kelly won, obviously. He destroyed him with Light Noon. Throwback. But anyway, I tried to get P4G Next Generation, which I did, and I won. And then I was hoping like I could get into P4G and fight him there, and it didn't happen. So, sad boys. Then, I tried to get into the UBL. I even brought UBL to his attention. So, I think I was the one who brought it to his attention. I don't know. I brought something to his attention. I know I brought the BBL to his attention, but I think I brought the UBL to his attention too. And I didn't get in, and he did. So there goes that. But here, finally, after all this time, we're here. It's the grudge match. And before anyone tells me that I'm grumpy and petty, like, it's more of for the memes. Like, I'm not actually, like, so mad at Dan that I hate him for saying something stupid 3.5 years ago. Alright, Dan's a cool guy. I'm not actually, like, hateful towards him. I just thought it'd be a fun, like, I thought it'd be a fun story one day, and it is. It's funny as hell. I told him, he found it hilarious. So, that's the grudge match. That's the story. Let's get into the battle. As you can see on your team, the 6 month that he decided to bring, and the 6 month that I decided to bring. If you do not know what I expected him to bring, if you do not know what these sets are, I will quickly go over what they are, but I do have in the description a link to my team builder, where I go very, very in-depth on every single mon that I brought, and why I brought them. So, whew, I'm dying. I'm tired. I just woke up. But, for a quick recap, if you want to see why I brought them, go check out the team builder. But I have a Toxic Roost 2 attacks Mega Charizard X. I have a Leech Seed 2 attacks Spiked Chestnut. I have Subtoxic Vincoon. Well, not Subtoxic Vincoon. I just have Subtoxic Suicune. It's not Calm Mind. I have Zapdos, which is bulky with Defog. I have Florges, which is 2 attacks with the Papa Berry. And then I have a Z Sandstorm Excadrill. So anyway, that's the 6 that I'm going to bring. If you did not see what I expected him to bring, if you do not remember what I expected him to bring, you'll be very surprised. You'll if you do, I'm sorry, let me try and get my words straight. If you do know what I expected Dan to bring for this match, you'll know that I was probably very surprised to not see the two biggest threats, in my opinion, to my team on Team Preview. Megalopin and Hydreigon are not here, and I was ecstatic. However, looking at this team immediately, I see Trick Room. I see one Pokemon that can outspeed my Mega Charizard X, and it's gonna have the Rocky MZ. I know Cobalian's gonna have the Rocky MZ. I know that Musharna and Cofagrigus are going to benefit under Trick Room. I know that the Tapu Bulu is either going to be Assault Vest or 3-attack Synthesis. Likely, something around there. It's not going to be Choice Banded. It's not going to be Choice Scarf. It's not going to be choiced in any way. Because with how my team is, yes, Tapu Bulu is a threat, but if it's locked into any one move at any given time, it's null and void because I can easily pivot around it. I know, like I said, Cobalion is going to be, it could be Rocks. However, I'm still expecting a SD variant of some kind. So it could be SD, Close Combat, Stone Edge, Rocks, or it could be SD 3-attacks, and just didn't bring Rocks. So I'm kind of seeing that, because it has to bring Rockium for my Mega Charizard X. That or he's just Dual Stab, and he's Titanium. But I highly think he's Rockium, so he can take on my Zapdos as well. So, Close Combat, plus Stone Edge seems like the best moves. While he doesn't hit my Florges, and he doesn't really hit my Espeon too hard, I believe, unless I'm defensive, +2, Iron Head's going to knock out the Espeon anyway. And Close Combat just runs through my entire draft. Volcanion I expect to be Subtoxic. And Cofagrigus I expect to be Trick Room. Probably defensive. I don't think he'll run an offensive variant. And then Sylveon, I'm not sure what Sylveon is at this point. Could be defensive. However, last week when he could have run its defensive Sylveon, he ran Massive Attack, so I'm not entirely sure. But with that, I'm going to lead off with my Mega Charizard X. Like I said, the only one that would actually threaten me is that Cobalion. Everything else, I just barrel my way through. And that's what I'm kind of thinking of. I'm kind of surprised at the team he brought, because if I brought D-Dance, I was in a lot better spot. And if I actually did bring D-Dance, I threw him to the sky. So I'm going to lead it off with my Mega Charizard X, get my Mega Evolution off really, really early. I think he's going to lead off with Bella, which I know is going to be a shiny Sylveon. And here, this is my first hint of what it is. I'm not going to get into exactly what it is until later, but I don't know what it is right now, but it's a good first hint, which I realize later. So I'm just going to Mega Evolve, and I'm going to hit something really hard. I'm going to Mega Evolve and click Flarelets. I'm not max attack, but I'm still decently invested, so this is still going to hurt. Unless it's a fully physically defensive Cofagrigus, it's going to take near half from this. So Flare Blitz is going to come off, and it's going to do a massive amount of damage, as you can see. It's going to do about 40% or so, and he's going to get the Tough Claws off. And here, I believe I'm going to click the Toxic. I'm not afraid of this thing clicking Will-O-Wisp, because obviously I'm a Fire type. I will be immune to that, and I'm not afraid of taking a Shadow Ball, because I can take it very easily. The only thing I'd be afraid of is a Toxic from himself, which isn't too bad. If he goes for Toxic Spikes, that's kind of annoying, but I can defog them later fairly easily. So, and as you can see, he's going to go for the Trick Room right off, and on this next turn, I believe I'm going to get ahead and get out of there, because I know I can't 2-hit KO him at this point. Even with the poison damage, I am not going to be able to 2-hit KO him, because he took away my Tough Claws. That's rude of him. Dan, that's very rude. Those were my Tough Claws, and you stole them from me. Now then, oh, am I actually going to... I believe I Dragon Claw. That's right. Guys, as you can see, welcome to me being unprofessional. I do it a lot, actually. I clicked Dragon Claw because I did not want the Volcanion to come in. Because Volcanion I thought would be a threat. At this point, I wasn't too sure if he'd be Toxic Spikes with Trick Room. I didn't think he'd fit 4 moves on there like that. So I thought I would click the Dragon Claw in case the Volcanion came in so I could get damage off on that. Because, again, as I said in T-Builder, Suicune is a very... it's a very possible win con. So... I'm going to get some damage off on this thing, which is really nice. And here, I believe he's going to switch out, which is good on him. Good time to switch out, because I'm going to switch out too. And specifically, I'm going to go out to my my Zapdos, so I can get rid of these Toxic Spikes, because I don't want them. And he pulls out the switch to the Volcanion, so that's very nice. Here, I'm counting Trick Room turns. I've been counting. So, he clicked Trick Room. That brings it down to 4. He clicked Toxic Spikes. Went down to 3, he went out to Volcanion, went down to 2. He only has 2 turns Trick Room left. I know I can defog these Toxic Spikes away, and I know that I take a Choice Specs Volcanion Steam Eruption, and I'm going to go for the defog here, so I can get rid of these Toxic Spikes, because they're really, really annoying. He goes to the Steam Eruption. I see that he's max special attack based on that damage. And I don't want to let my Zapdos take another one. I don't want to let it go down yet. So I'm going to go ahead and pivot out into my Florges with no Hydreigon. I don't care if this thing takes damage because it's mainly here for that Florges. As he's going to go for Steam Eruption, I'm going to notice that it's going to do a decent chunk. And I know that a second one will put me in range of the Iapapa Berry, so I'm not going to bother healing. And I'm going to go ahead and go for the Hidden Power Ground. I, one, see that I'm faster, and two, see that he was Shook Berry. So I'm able to get rid of that immediately, which is good for both my Excadrill, and if I was a D-Dance 3 attacks Charizard X, it would be good for my Charizard. So he's going to go for another Steam Eruption. He's going to put me really low. However, that's going to be in range of my Iapapa Berry, and I'm going to be able to get back some health here, which is nice. And I believe I'm actually going to try and keep this a little bit healthy, just so I can use this to pivot in on the Volcanion more than switching in on the Suicune. And I kind of forget that I'm faster than him, and I go for the Synthesis first, which is, you know, a thing. I'm also counting his Steam Eruptions. He misses one, which kind of sucks, but it wouldn't have done too much. And here, he's going to switch out, I believe, into his Tapu Bulu. Yep, El Toro. Should have been El Toro Fuerte, you know, repping the Jackie Chan like I do, but unfortunately, he didn't do that, so he's bad. So, here I go for the Hidden Power Ground. It's not going to do much damage to this Tapu Bulu. However, it does just barely enough for me to know that he's leftovers. It did like 7%, which is all I needed to do. And I thought about Moonbossing here, but I didn't want to let this thing take damage. I'm going to go out to my counter to this, which is my Chestnut. He does go for Sub, which is interesting. That's good because I will be able to block the Leaf Seed. Sub Seed is very annoying. And I can easily get a Spike versus this thing, but I don't want to allow this thing just to do its thing right now. I want to make sure that if I do die for any reason, I die without him having a Sub. And he reveals a Dazzling Gleam, which could be really annoying if he was max special attack, but unfortunately for him, he is uninvested, and I am specially defensive. So I'm going to be able to go for the Poison Jab and break his Sub. And we're going to have a little back and forth here. He wants a Sub, and he wants to kill me. I don't want him to have a Sub, and I'd rather him not kill me, but I'm okay if he does. So, I know I'll be making sure at what point I'll be able to live to Dazzling Gleams, and I'm going to continue to click Poison Jab until I'm in that range so I can get up a Spike. Once I'm in that range, I'm going to get up a Spike, and I'm going to make sure that I end up with a Spike and no Sub. I don't care if I die. Because I'll at least just be able to bring out my, oh, I go for Spike here. Never mind. I know that, I think after the recovery, I live one. Live two. I do, because I'd get 24% back, almost, or 25. Yeah, so I'm easily able to get up a Spike here. I'm going to continue to Poison Jab after this, because it does a lot of damage, and it keeps him from having a Sub. So, he goes for Dazzling Gleam. As you can see, it's going to once again do about 40%, except for the fact that he gets a crit on this turn, which is really, really bad, because I could have easily just stayed here and Poison Jab for a while, and eventually probably gotten a hit off on him, or he would have just killed me without a Sub, which is annoying. However, here, I'm still in an okay position. It does speed things up. I might have been able to get a hit off on something, and been able to bring my Chestnut back in later. Overall, really annoying. However, I mean, things are going to happen. He's going to try again, I believe, to get a Sub up. However, I'm not going to let him. Like I said, I do not want him to have that Sub. And on the next turn, he's going to kill him with the Dazzling Gleam, which is going to leave him at, since he was at full, he's going to leave him about 82%, which is nice. So, the crit kind of sucks, because it also means, takes away my ability to switch into Cobalion. If for any reason this ended up working out to where he switched out and let me save my Chestnut. Because I could have weakened the Cobalion later, but you know what? It's fine. Whatever, it's Pokemon. He's going to Dazzling Gleam and he's going to knock me out. But I'm okay with that. He crits me again for Salt. From Salt in that wound, Dan. I'm kidding. So he is going to get some recovery. It's actually going to be about 88%, but it doesn't matter because 88% is in range of big boy man here. Mr. St. George is here, and Mr. St. George is, I believe, going to click the Flare Blitz and just send something to the moon, and that's going to be the Cofagrigus. After this Spike, he is not going to be able to take this. So, goodbye to the Cofagrigus. Thank God. My Excadrill is now looking a lot better. However, I still have to be worried about that Musharna, because Musharna, physically defensive, can take 2 Drill Runs. I definitely need to get damage off on that. Unfortunately, you're about to see a big misplay here. However, I still stand by why I made the play, and I think it's a good idea. Like I said, this thing could be stealth rocks 2 attacks with sword stance, but no matter what, I do know that it's going to be Rocky him, and I do know he can knock me out here. I thought about switching out, sacking either my Zapdos. If I had my Chestnut, I probably would have sacked it here. But I stayed in and clicked Flare Blitz because if he was SD 3 attacks, he could basically win right there. So I didn't want that. So he went for Continental Crush. He's going to knock me out. If I could have saved my Zard, it would have been so much better because he did not switch into Zard and he could not handle it at all. So he is going to knock me out with the Continental Crush. Very, very fortunate. I definitely should not have done that, but I stand by the fact that I could not let him SD. So here I'm going to go into my Purity, my beautiful baby Suicune, and we're going to start doing Suicune things. So this is why the video is 18 minutes long. Let's do some Suicune things. So he's going to Volt Switch, which tells me at this point that I made the dumb play and he's not SD. And he's Stealth Rock, Close Combat, Stone Edge, and Volt Switch. But he's going to go into Tapu Bolo. And I'm like, if you're Giga Drain because you're Dazzling Gleam, you don't beat me, good sir. If I was Calm Mind, but I'm not Calm Mind, so rip. But luckily, Grassy Terrain is here to help me with the recovery. And I'll be able to get back 25%, give or take. Which is nice. And here I will go for Toxic to get this thing whittled down and stop this thing from doing the Tapu Bolo things that it's doing. So he's going to switch out. He does not want to let me get Toxic, and he's going to switch out into his Bella. And when he switched out to this Bella, right here, the second I saw this thing drop in, I figured out what he was. The only reason why he would go out to his Sylveon right this second is if he was Modest Specs. He would not go out to his Sylveon any other reason. And that's also why immediately I realized the hint that he dropped earlier. He let off a Sylveon because I didn't have a switch into it. The only switching I had to a Modest Spec Sylveon would have been my Excadrill, which is my win con, and I wouldn't like take damage. So, very smart for him to lead off with that. Very smart for him to bring it in now. Very smart overall. I love the play. And I'm sad that I didn't understand it earlier. So, unfortunately, like I just said, I don't really switch into this. But I'm going to attempt to scout. If he's Modest Specs, he does a lot. If for any reason I'm wrong and he's not Modest Specs, then, what up? Toxic's gonna beat you down. However, unfortunately, with the Grassy Terrain, it's gonna be kind of hard for me to be able to whittle this thing down with Toxic. I'm gonna have to click Scald a couple times. I'm gonna go for Protect here. Of course, get some, recovery back and stall out some Hyper Voices. I only need to stall out 8. Yay! Which is the only move I can't really stall out 8 of because it's Modest Specs. So he is going to go for Hyper Voice here. I'm gonna stay in against my better judgment because I want to scout the damage. I want to make sure that I am right about this thing. I can take one and I'll get a bunch of HP back, especially after I protect the next turn. So it's not like it's going to do ridiculous amounts of permanent damage. So I get a Scald off, does a decent amount, and I see the damage. I'm like, yep, that's going to be Specs because that's not especially defensive. And LOL, it does a lot. So I'm going to get some recovery back here. I'm going to click Protect on the next turn. I've stalled out 6 out of 10 of his Hyper Voices, which is nice, but I can't keep doing it. So, I am going to get that damage off. And here, he is going to switch out, actually, which is very surprising to me, into Krakatoa. So, I believe this is when I pulled the switch into my... Oh, I go for Protect. So, I'm okay with that. I'll be honest. I'm okay with that, because all I gotta do is Toxic you. And I beat you, and I know that I'm faster than you, because everything else that I had was faster than you. So I'm going to go for Toxic. And now I beat you 1v1, which is amazing. So I believe he was throwing away his Volcanion here, which is a good idea. I think he wants to reset the Grassy Terrain for his Sylveon so he can beat the Poison. And also so he doesn't get, he can reset the Toxic. Reset the Poison turret, sorry. But he goes for Roar, which is a good play. I no longer beat him 1v1, lol. But he's going to take some poison damage, and I can, hidden power ground him here if I want. I believe I know that he's going out to El Toro, so I believe I click the Moonblast instead to get damage off on this thing, because I need it to win with my Excadrill. At this point, I'm thinking that Musharn is my only way of only thing standing in the way of my Excadrill. So I go for Moonblast here to get some damage off, which is nice. And here I believe I'm going to attack him again. I believe. Do I? I Moonblast him. Okay. I attack him again. I don't need my Florges anymore. He goes for the lead seed and he misses, which is very sucky because Moonblast does a lot of damage, y'all. Moonblast does a lot of damage. That was a very bad lead seed miss on his part. And Moonblast did a lot of damage, and Moonblast is actually going to put him at 1 HP. Unfortunately, I missed out on the roll. But you know what? He missed out on the lead seed, so it's okay. If I would have gotten that roll, it would have been a wrap. It likely just would have either been very detrimental to him. He probably would have had a way to come back, but if I had gotten that roll there after getting the miss, like, he would have been in a shitty spot. So I'm going to go for Moonblast here, and I'm going to put him really low. He's going to go for Horn Leech. He is going to get some HP back, and he's actually going to kill me with the roll, which is sucky, but it's okay because he's going to have that much HP back. I believe that I don't like the way how much HP this thing is at. This is an annoying Pokemon. So I am going to go into my Marilyn Monroe. I know that Iron Head is going to kill this thing. It's my best way to pressure this thing out, and if he's going to go out to a Volcanion, I'm not going to go for game yet. I'm just going to pressure him. I think he thinks I'm Scarf. So I'm going to go for the Iron Head, and I'm going to be able to get some damage off on the Volcanion, and then on the next turn, I'm just going to be able to knock it out with the Drill Run, which is really nice. So I can get rid of Volcanion, which is really good because Roar is really annoying for my Suicune. So here I go for Drill Run to knock this thing out after he takes some poison damage. Good lord, so many things are going on. I go for Drill Run. Like I said, I did brought Drill Run over before Earthquake because it's grassy terrain, but I should have brought Earthquake. I want you to know that I screamed in frustration at this. I was blind with anger. I missed Drill Run, and at that point, I don't have a Wing Con. I can't beat anything on his team because Synchronize Musharna will beat my Suicune 1v1. I literally have to para everything to death. I go for Discharge to knock this thing out. And I do, which is great. But unfortunately, he can bring in literally whatever he wants. El Toro, sure. I mean, the Spike is going to put him low, and what if I'm invested in my HP Ice? I might be able to knock him out with HP Ice right now. However, I think I go for the... Do I go for Hidden Power? Yeah, I go for Hidden Power. I didn't go for the Evil. So I go for Hidden Power, and I don't get the roll again, and he goes for Leech Seed, which is fun. So, because he goes for Leech Seed, he's going to be able to get back up a little bit higher, and he's going to be close to the same point that he was at. Look at that. That's a roll. He's going to go for the switch out into Reverie, which is going to be his Musharna, and you're going to see that it ultimately might not have mattered that my Excadrill, you know, didn't stay alive because he actually has a Grassy Seed Musharna, which means it's going to be stored power. I go for Hidden Power, but if I had my Excadrill alive right now, he's actually going to switch out because he realized he needed this Musharna for my Suicune because it's the only thing that beats it right now. Because my Suicune actually beats everything else on his team. So he switches out. That would have been really nice. Because he's actually stored power, mono. And to actually do anything to Excadrill, he would have had a Calm Mind a couple times. I could have gone up sub. I could have, you know, Iron Head flinched him a little bit. I discharge. I hit the Cobalion. He gets Leech Seed recovery. I don't get the para. Unfortunately, if I would have got the para, it would have been nice. But unfortunately, I don't get nice things, and he's going to close combat to knock me out. At this point, I mean, I'm going to go for it with Suicune. I forget that Musharna has Synchronized, but I'm going to go for it with Suicune because if I get lucky, if I got that para on Cobalion, actually, and I didn't have to worry about Synchronize. Oh, I got Static, actually. That's right. I knew I got Paralyzed him somehow. I mean, technically, my Suicune might be able to do it. It just depends on Protect turns and stuff. If it wasn't for Synchronize, anyway. He could do it. I go for Scald. I get some damage off. If I got fully paralyzed, I got him fully paralyzed here, like, you never know. But, yeah, guys, I know. The game's over. I lose to Dan. I'm going to lose 3-0 to Dan, which is really, really sucky. But it's my fault. I will see him in playoffs. I'm going to get into playoffs. I will fight him in playoffs. I'll get my revenge. But unfortunately, we're going to cop an L here. It's just going to take a couple more turns for him to beat me down. I'm going to go for my best plays. I'm going to go to go ahead and kill that. I know I'm not going to win 1-0. But if I can lose 2-0, if I can lose 1-0, like, I'm going to take it because I need the differential. Because this is going to be a very tight race for playoffs, I can already tell you. He goes out back to Reverie, which is nice. Unfortunately, this thing beats my Suicune 1v1 no matter what, every day of the week. It is synchronized. It is Calm Mind, Heal Bell, Stored Power, and Moonlight. So, very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. Oh, Moonlight would have been affected by Sandstorm, which I could have gotten up. Yeah. But it still wouldn't matter. He wouldn't have taken anything from the... He wouldn't have taken anything from the Iron Head. I would have had to punch him. If I ran SD, you never know. You never know. You never know. But that's the game we play. That is the life I live. Unfortunately, we're going to take an L versus Dan. Hopefully, next week, guys, I won't have an 18-minute video for you. Hopefully, next time... actually, this is 26 minutes. Yeah. Hopefully, I won't have a super long video for you next time. But it's the team that I drafted. Leave me alone. Suicune plus Zapdos. It was only 35 turns. I'm kidding. It was like a lot more than that. Leave me alone. let me have my fun with the team that I drafted. But I believe this is the point where he's going to knock me out. He's going to... Musharna actually gets a kill because it was a synchronized kill. He's going to store power me, and Toxic's going to kill me, and that's going to be GG. Next week we fight off against Wolf. Really excited for it. We're actually starting our second draft right now. I can't wait to show you guys that in a couple weeks. Our second draft is going. Very, very nice. Dan, the grudge match is over. You won. Good job. You played really, really well. You played extremely well, actually. Musharna set definitely threw me off. Shout out to you for not bringing the two on that I prepped for the most. Definitely over-prepped for them, and definitely under-prepped for Musharna. So, the misses sucked, but ultimately it wouldn't have mattered. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you liked this battle. I know I didn't. One, because I lost, and two, because frustration. If you would have seen me live get mad over that miss, because I didn't know what Musharna was at that point. Oh my god, it would have been one of the magic moments. Anyway, that'll be that, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace.